Thank you to our Patreon supporters: Stephanie O, Jacqueline M, Nathan E, Matthew J, Paul and Sandy J, Sarah P, a.k.a. Situational Daddy on Instagram, and Big Time Jim. Help support our show by going to patreon.com/whatweremember. Thanks.
I can't think of how to brand Bill and Ted chips.
No.
Game with
okay.
death
That's a
chips
bit of
to
a-
make them real spicy.
Ooh.
Or make like one real spicy.
Is that Bruce Lee?
Ooh, yeah, Game of Death.
They come in the size of a telephone booth, the chip bag. It's really big. You can hop in and go through time. Oh, it'd be fun if it was like an old-timey chip, like something...
It came in like a telephone booth box.
Yeah.
What if you got just a crate of chips? Because then you do the So Crates joke.
Oh.
Jesus.
So crates of chips.
Yeah.
I don't think we've nailed an intro yet.
Nope.
Hold on.
Don't
Don't you
put
dare.
that
Don't you dare.
What do you mean?
Put that in.
I won't. Well, I can't.
It's
You're
not
gonna,
good.
You're going to
It's not
destroy
good.
our brand, Brad. People expect us
Yeah.
to be the funniest podcast they listen to.
When people start the podcast, I hope they have no idea of what we're talking about or what we were talking about. And they're just there's no context.
They're
for
worried
the
that-
openings.
Honestly, like
They're
this
like-
opening makes or breaks it sometimes.
They're like, what have we
you
jumped
think
into?
so? You think people turn it off after they hear that the opening is just meandering?
They're like, uh-oh, that's gross.
Well,
I mean,
if it's a bad opening, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I
Yeah,
mean, how
of
many
course, because I've done that
podcasts-
myself.
So many
like, I'll start a
podcasts with
podcast
the-
that's just like a meandering, and
Yep.
if it goes for like a minute,
I'll skip 30 seconds.
Yeah, you got to keep
yeah,
it.
yeah,
Gotta keep
I
it
think
brief.
I think
Gotta
we
keep
do
it brief.
enough
Oh,
where
yeah.
it's like brief enough.
I think the last episode
If it
we
goes
did,
to, like,
101 Dalmatians had a really good, quick,
Oh, did it?
like little blip.
That episode was long though.
It was.
was
It was
We talked
so
too much.
long.
We talked too much about that film. I'll jump like 5 minutes past the opening of a podcast and not feel like I missed anything.
No.
Yeah.
Usually, it's like I just missed the ads, reads, and the.
It's not like Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
That one's like you have to go through like 7 minutes of ads just to get to like where the actual.
I watch it on
episode
YouTube
is.
content, and it's fine. They don't
Yeah.
even do the
Well,
ads.
yeah. Right. We still haven't nailed it.
Yeah, whatever. My name is Bradley Jones,
I'm Andrew Moldenhauer.
I'm Eddie Hubert.
and this is not a movie review podcast, but it's a podcast where we try to remember what happened in a movie that we haven't seen in a very, very long time. And this is what we remember about Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Were there 2 or 3 bad guys in Home Alone? And who was that forgetful fish in Finding Nemo? Join us as we're watching films. See what we remember and what memories we killed. Let's start the show. Here we go. This is what we remember. Don't they do like the air
The
guitar?
Wild Stallions. Spelled W-Y-L-D.
Oh, that's their band.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
S-T-Y-L-I-O-N-S or something. Or like, there's a lot of Y's in there.
Wow. It's like Sticks.
This is the 80s like film, right? So much 80s in here.
Yeah, this came out in 87?
I believe you. You're the
Tell
movie
me.
year guy.
85?
I'll go to
special
you.
power.
I'll phone a friend and ask you when this movie came out.
It might
Yep.
be 86. I actually don't know.
Oh my gosh.
Start it off. Who's in the movie?
Keanu Reeves.
I know that guy.
I think I've seen him in a few pictures.
He might have been in something.
Johnny Mnemonic,
He did
And,
that.
Oh, that's right.
That's it.
Chain Reaction.
Oh, yeah.
I'm naming all of his big films.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
did
only
that.
the big ones.
He did that surfing movie called Surf's Up, and then he did
That's a
like,
Penguin movie.
He did that.
He did that movie with Swayze, Roadhouse.
Oh yeah, he was
Yeah,
in
yeah.
Roadhouse.
He also did that movie where like he was like inside the computers. I think it was called like
Lawnmower Man.
Bit
Yeah,
or Chip or
that's
something.
right.
Chip
It
Bit.
was the Lawnmower Man.
Yeah.
It was just all Johnny Mnemonic. Johnny Mnemonic's actually like 5
And then he was in
movies.
that movie where he was sending letters to himself in the past. It was
Oh,
called
yeah.
Lake House.
Sure.
That's actually what it's called.
Yeah, you're not even making a joke now. It's just, you're just stating facts. This isn't fun.
Yep.
What other was one other big name?
Alex Winter.
Okay, I wasn't think. I thought you already said that one.
Okay, you're thinking of Baldy
Yes.
with the sunglasses.
Yes.
And of course the trench coat.
Uh huh.
You
One of the
know.
most famous comedians of all time,
Yeah.
which you can't name for some reason.
Bob Newhart. Duh. Told you.
Can't tell if it's a joke or not. But
What are you talking about? Of course it's not. It's the Newhart show.
Bob Newhart would kind of fit the mold, though. Not the worst substitute.
It was on brand.
Oh my gosh.
His name is Carl.
Oh, jeez.
It's
Carl Sagan.
It's
This is a Bill Paxton.
Wait, no,
all
hold
over
on,
again.
hold on. His name is. It's
Name-
Jim.
You're getting
name
twisted
is
real
Robert
hard
Palmer.
right now. You're getting twisted so hard right now.
It's
You're getting twisted.
Carlton.
That's really wow. That's like
It's close. It's
is like
close. It's coming to me so slowly.
You'll get there.
all right. We're gonna get a time machine. We're gonna go back in time from now. Where
Please don't say his name until I get it.
you'll have known the name, and they'll be able to put it into this episode.
Oh my gosh.
It's still not there. I'm formulating it in my head.
We'll pass. So Keanu Reeves and Alex Winter. Would you call them burnouts, or are they just like cool
They're
surfer
surfers.
dudes?
They're surfer burnouts.
It doesn't seem like they like talk about smoking weed a lot, even though they have that like vibe to them, like
Yeah.
cool dudes.
Yeah,
True.
there's no smoking weed in this movie.
They're just real
but, like,
chill guys.
Yeah.
I think they do it.
Yeah, you got to think
To-
they
to
do
eat
it, right?
together?
Do you think they drink? You think they
Don't know if they drink
Get some
either.
buds
They're
and
like super
party.
fit too. Like
Oh, yeah.
Alex
That's
Winter's
true,
like
that's
buff
true.
in this
He's
movie.
got the cutoff. He's got that
the
cutoff tee.
Yeah.
It's a sweater. It's like a cutoff sweater. Oh my god.
Yeah, you see his belly the whole film.
And he's got what? His hair. It's
blonde.
highlights, curly highlights.
He's the blonde short one, and Keanu's the tall dark-haired one. That's how you know them apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're a great combo.
and Keanu's got
1-2
the
punch.
white shirt with the black vest on. Isn't that what
Yes.
he's wearing?
I thought he wore like something blue, but I could.
No, I think you're right, Andy.
Ooh.
I think Andy's right.
Andy's
Wow.
together when
For
our
once.
powers combine.
Oh no!
Oh, we just gave each other Corona.
Shoot. Why did we do that? This is a poor choice.
They're not very
not
intelligent
bright.
by society's standards.
No.
They got a lot of street smarts,
Yeah.
and they
And they
know how to
seem-
get things done.
And they seem happy with what,
They just don't like
where they
school.
are. Like, it's not like, yeah, they just don't like school. They're like, this
Yeah.
isn't for me.
Yeah.
They'd rather just hang out and play video games and eat Ruffles and
They're
Doritos
they
and
want to
Mountain
live
Dew
the dream.
and
You know, they want to live the dream.
yeah, hang out with babes on a beach with the top down on a Corvette
And your shirt up.
Yep.
Okay, what was that
Playing
guy's
the
name?
guitar,
What is that guy's name? Carlson?
playing the guitar.
Oh, damn it.
And they have a band. That's the Wild Stallions.
The Wild Stallions
but they're
is their band.
garbage.
They're terrible.
They cannot play their instruments. Neither of
Do
them
they
can
actually
sing.
even play the instruments?
The movie starts with them going to like a battle of the bands, I think. Maybe that's the sequel.
They're in their garage in the opening.
Could be.
I thought in the opening of the movie they play Van Halen on their stereo and they're just mimicking it.
Air guitar.
They're just like mimicking
They
it.
feel like if they do that,
I don't think they ever actually practiced.
Yeah, it could
No. They're not good at playing their instruments.
be. No, it's not what they do.
They want so there's a battle of the bands that they want to do?
I don't know if that happens in this movie or the second one. That happens in the second one.
Okay.
Okay.
This is one where it's easy to kind of mix them up, I think.
It's not as music focused in this first one, I feel. Until like well, I guess it's not even at the end. No, it's not really as music focused as the sequel.
I'm worried that what I'm thinking of if this movie is actually the sequel now.
Well, maybe it's a plot element that doesn't happen until the very end.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
I think it is. I think maybe there is a battle of the bands at the end.
so Ted's dad is going to send him to military school.
Oh,
if he doesn't pass his
If he doesn't pass this exam,
fed up with
his
him,
history
yeah.
exam.
That's the big like crux, like the big stakes of the movie.
Whoa.
You got to pass
man.
that exam to make it happen.
My dad wants me to pass this exam.
And it's what, a history exam, right?
Yes.
It's he's got to know all the famous historians
Yeah.
who are all white.
He's got to put on that's true. Put on a big presentation at the end. There's like almost like a talent show type thing where like everyone goes up and like does
Yeah.
their project to the class.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is Bill's thing in this movie? What does he got to do? It's set up that like his dad remarried a girl they used to go to high school with named Missy. That's like a thing. And then,
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Bill keeps like checking out his stepmom. And it's like super weird because she's like a super babe who like
This
hangs
is-
out in a
this is-
bikini all day and makes him like sandwiches.
Yeah, and he's like really weirded out by it, I think, but he's like trying to be nice to her. I don't know. But Is his dad like a used car salesman?
He's
or
like
something?
that. He's a creepy
Yeah.
dude with like a mustache and glasses, and
Isn't he destined to just like work at his dad's used car business?
oh, maybe
That
that's
makes
his
sense.
thing.
His dad's got a dealership.
Something like that. It's like a scummy dealership. It's like
if he doesn't pass high school, he has
it's like
to go
Danny
work in the
DeVito and
dealership.
Matilda.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think so. I might be making that up, but possibly.
There's a moment where like Bill and Ted are hanging out in Bill's room, and then the mom walks in, and like the dad walks in and starts making out with the mom like hardcore, and the dad gives them like some money to like get out of the house so he can just
Oh,
go
yeah.
bang the hot mom. I'm like, oh god.
Wow.
Now your dad's going for it in your own room. Shut up, Ted. Your stepmom is cute, though. Shut up, Ted. Remember when I asked her to the prom? Shut up, Ted!
Isn't Ted's dad a cop?
He's like a military. Yeah, he is a cop, and he wants to
think
send
he's a
Ted to
cop.
military school. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And then I don't know who's the teacher. There's a teacher of
Yes.
the high school.
I don't know.
Or of the class.
I don't know what else
high
he's
school class.
from. But
Yeah.
yeah.
And I still don't know that guy's name.
That's okay. Because that guy comes down from outer space or whatever. Because there is an aspect of the future to this film.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the future is this idealized world. Everyone's wearing sweet white robes, and everyone is just like cool with each other. And it's because Bill and Ted did something to save the universe and like set it up as like this most peaceful place, like ended war,
Yep.
no poverty.
Everyone lives like they do. They're
everyone
just
lives-
chill bros.
Everyone lives like chill bros. They set the standard on how everyone should live.
George Carlin.
Hey,
Got it.
Welcome to the podcast, Andy.
I bet I get hurt.
Yeah.
I was like Carlton. And then I was just thinking of Fresh Prince of Bel Air. And I was like, I gotta get off that train.
Soul Train. Wait.
George Carlin.
His name is Rufus.
Rufus, okay.
And Rufus has to
Sungla-
go.
the sunglasses that he's wearing are like angular. Mm-hmm. It's like the 80s future.
Oh, yeah.
Which are already in the future. Because everything looked
You're in
like
the
it was
80s, you're in the future. Yeah. That's
Everything
true.
looked like it was in the
Those
future.
aesthetics, man. Neon everything.
So Rufus has to go back in time to help Bill and Ted. Otherwise, if they don't become the Wild Stallions, the entire future will be destroyed.
Which means they have to pass that history exam.
They gotta pass
Yeah.
that history
You can't,
exam.
you can't go to military academy.
The aliens out there have to help them pass a history
Well,
exam
there's like future
to
people.
realize their potential
Yeah.
so that they can exist.
Yes. So we can have the future that's idealized.
You need to take care of yourself so that we can live. Mm-hmm. So,
There's a moment where like Bill and Ted are at a loss. They don't know what they're gonna do, and then Rufus lands in like a parking lot.
because I think they have one day to do it.
Yes.
yeah, basically. It's
tomorrow.
It's the next day.
So Rufus comes down, visits them in the telephone booth, which is the mode of transportation, not the DeLorean, not anything else. It's a telephone booth
Not
with
the
a weird
police
antenna
box,
on top
yeah.
of it.
Yeah, it's nice and easy.
It is.
You know, I don't even think you see it moving that much.
Yeah. You do see like animation graphics of it,
Of
like
lights
of
around
traveling in
it.
like tubes and
Yeah.
stuff, like going through time.
It's kind of Doctor Who-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
without a doubt.
they're not necessarily moving that. They're moving the image behind it, I think.
Yes, it's like psychedelic things moving around. And
Yeah.
And they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Rufus goes to explain the plan. You guys got to go back in they got to go back in time and learn about history,
Dudes.
dudes. So they go back.
So
and
they go to like what looks like the Twilight Zone almost. They're in
Yeah?
like some weird like boardroom thing, aren't they?
Oh yeah,
Don't they go to see like the
They go to see
future
the future
people?
I think they do.
Like he shows them like I'm not lying, I am from the future.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then they do like some symbol. There's some symbol that they do. I don't know if you guys remember
I
this.
don't remember this.
It's like some salute that's like signifying Bill and Ted.
This was it. This the
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah. The
oh,
guitar,
the
thing.
guitar-
The guitar thing.
yeah.
guitar thing. Yeah,
That's their like bow down to them.
Mm-hmm.
yes.
It's like the
big windmill arm.
yeah,
air
the
guitar.
windmill arm. Yeah, that whoever the
Yeah.
Who guy is, Pete Townsend. Now I'm getting names like crazy. On a roll.
Got all of the names now.
Bill Paxton.
when Rufus originally visits them in the parking lot, another Bill and Ted come down from a telephone booth.
Yeah,
and
yes.
it's them from the future.
So I watched this and I was like, they're already telling you how it's gonna end.
They tell you like the middle of the movie happens.
The middle
at
of the
beginning
movie, they're
the-
just like, it's gonna end fine. Don't worry. And I'm like, okay.
So Bill and Ted from like hours in the future land, and they're having some like issues. They also have like some of the historians in their telephone booth, but they go to like try to convince Bill and Ted that this is like the right thing to do. Like listen to Rufus, use the telephone booth, do all this stuff, and in order to test them, if you are really me, what number am I thinking of?
69, dude. The way he says it, 69, dude.
And they do the yeah.
Oh man.
Who are you guys? We're you, dude! No way. No way. Yes way, Ted! Look, we know how you feel. We didn't believe it either when we were you, and we us said what we us are saying right now. Okay, wait. If you guys are really us, what number are we thinking of? 69, dudes!
Second act, Bill and Ted are having issues, and they like talk to Rufus a little bit, and then like first act, Bill and Ted just go into the telephone booth and go on their adventure.
Yeah, because this movie's not that long.
Nah,
No, it
we gotta get
moves.
it over with.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they're whose idea is it to go actually like get the people?
I think Rufus, but I could be wrong. Maybe Bill and Ted come up with that idea.
This is like a video game. Like Rufus is like your guide in case you
Little
need
bit.
help.
Yeah, he's yeah.
it's
It's like the new
go collect the
Jumanji
stars.
movies. Yeah.
Where do they go first? The Old West? Do they get
They
Billy the
go
Kid?
get Socrates first, maybe.
I think they get Billy the Kid.
Socrates first.
And they have like an Old West
later.
shootout
The
thing.
kid. Okay, I'm gonna get a little complicated with
Ooh.
who they get when.
Why'd you have to go?
Yep.
So complicated.
And Bill and Ted are just, two dudes from the present day who don't fit in anywhere they go.
They walk into a saloon.
Yeah, they just walk into the saloon.
You see the doors flapping. Flip, flip.
I like these visuals you're giving.
We're looking for Billy the Kid, who's playing cards and gets in some rough stuff, and Bill and Ted help save him, and then they escape.
Is it like the police or the sheriff show up, or like a rival gang shows
like
up?
a bunch
and
of
then
bandits
he, like, helps,
come in, yeah.
And then Billy's like, "You guys are all right." And so he takes him into the phone. Everybody's got to fit into the phone booth,
Yep,
right?
that
Yeah, they
happens.
cram in there.
I think
This
no-
thing must be big.
I think Napoleon rides on the roof of it. Because somebody breaks the antenna, like essentially the flux capacitor of the film that makes the telephone pole be able to go through time.
I think the joke is like Napoleon is like scared the entire time and he doesn't know where he is.
He's
and
a character.
He
Yeah.
can't speak English
No.
at all. And so they don't understand him. And he's always getting lost, I think. I think he's like wandering off like a child
Yeah.
because he's also short.
I think they like lure him into the phone booth with like a chocolate bar or something like really silly. I
Maybe.
don't understand. Yeah, I don't know why
possible.
they shouldn't get Napoleon. Leave him be.
Yeah, he's a murderer.
Mm-hmm.
Come on.
What do they also get? Beethoven. They get Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc, Beethoven, Socrates, Abraham
Lincoln.
Lincoln, of course.
Yeah.
Maybe a George Washington, too.
Nope. Too many presidents.
All right,
Too many
not
presidents.
enough. John Adams.
Nope.
cut
Too
him.
many presidents. Get
Cut
rid
him.
of them.
Get them out of
Get
there.
out of my movie. And they get Genghis Khan.
They get Gandhi,
man.
don't they?
Do they get? No, they don't get
They
Gandhi.
get Gandhi.
No.
They gotta get Gandhi.
No.
Gotta get gone.
No,
Okay.
no Gandhi. Gandhi came out like 2 years after this. People didn't know what Gandhi was.
A man named Ada. No,
Oh,
never mind. No,
no.
they probably don't get him.
They should go back in time.
No,
and,
they definitely don't get
kill
him.
baby Hitler. That
There
should
you
be
go.
a thing.
Yeah.
Not really utilizing this time machine for anything but selfish
no,
purposes.
no, just to pass a
Just to
history
pass
exam.
this class.
That's the chill way to do it,
Yeah.
bro.
Each of them have like adventures.
Do they get Genghis Khan?
They get Genghis Khan.
What? Why would they get him?
You got to talk about
He's
all
like
the
the
people
most
he killed.
evil.
He's bad. He's a bad man.
He's killed like. I think they say that like he killed a fifth of the population when he was alive or
Yeah.
something like that.
And like everyone's related to him at some
Yeah.
point.
Yep.
Like everyone has Genghis
Don't get that guy.
Mongolian blood in them.
Oh my God.
Genghis Khan.
Yikes.
That's no good.
And they each go through like little segments. Some are quicker than others of like recruiting these people.
Yeah, and then, like, once they have them, I think there's, like, trying to keep them all together. There's
Yeah.
a scene where they go to the mall.
Yeah, before that happens, they still get like lost in time at some point, and they end up in like the Middle Ages because they have to rescue 2 princess babes.
Oh.
Ooh.
I don't remember
What's
that.
this? Oh, I kind of remember this.
Yeah, it's like their big moment is to like they land in some medieval times and get captured and put in the gallows and have to do this elaborate escape, and they also like rescue some super babe princesses.
Is there like a weird Rapunzel scene where he's like climbing up a building?
Well, there's like a Roxanne bringing that back of like them like saying poetry, and he sings "Every rose has a thorn,
Oh my god. That's
every night
great.
has its dawn." Yeah,
That's good.
I can't wait to watch this.
Every rose has its thorn.
every
Oh,
cowboy sings a sad
Sad
song.
song.
Every
Rose has its thorn.
And they woo the ladies. They woo the 2 princesses.
Oh, you beautiful babes from England, for whom we have traveled through time. Will you go to the prom with us in San Dimas? We will have a most triumphant time.
So they bring them along as well?
they,
Okay.
they get
Gotta.
brought along.
So I don't really remember some of those scenes where they're actually collecting the people.
Traveling
I
through
think
time.
some of that's a montage.
Some
too.
of it, yeah,
I think
yeah.
some of it happens
They
much
play a
faster.
song. We got to get this movie rolling.
I feel like there's at least one where they show up and it's not even like an adventure. Like they show up and just like grab someone.
There's
and
a
then
couple like
zoom
that.
The
again.
Joan of Arc one, they just grab and pull her
Yeah.
into the thing.
Yeah, there's a couple like that. And then
They do go back to present time, and there's time before the presentation.
doesn't Socrates get lost at the mall? Isn't that what happens?
Well, they all get lost at the mall.
I thought one of them runs off to the mall. Like Socrates like goes to the mall.
Well, they take him to the mall to like just buy time for them to work on other stuff.
They sell time at the mall?
But they pass off Napoleon onto like Bill or Ted's like younger brother to hang out with.
He's got a younger brother?
Yeah, and
and they're playing like video games or something.
Well, they take him bowling, and Napoleon gets like super pissed at bowling, and they end up like leaving him because he's just a downer hanging out with Napoleon.
Yeah.
And then Napoleon like wanders into a water park called Waterloo,
Okay.
and he goes down a
And he-
water slide, and there's like a whole like
He's
there's,
not
like,
upset by that.
They dedicate like 15 minutes of the movie to like Napoleon going down water slides.
Isn't that where Napoleon got
man.
defeated? Was at Waterloo?
Yes.
So
And I thought Napoleon was Mr. Bean the first time I saw him. Rowan Atkinson should have
Yeah.
been casted.
yeah.
He'd have been perfect.
He's a little too tall though.
That's true. You want to talk about the mall?
Not the mall, but there's also
Because
a
Mozart really
scene-
wails on some electric piano. That's
he
like my
does.
favorite part of the whole movie.
Well, that
Is like I want to see like those old timey musicians jump into the modern times and like make music. That'd be sweet.
Oh, I thought it was Beethoven. Is it Mozart? Maybe Mozart would make more sense.
Yeah, maybe. Who's the deaf guy?
Beethoven.
It's Beethoven.
Okay. Apparently,
They call him Beat Evan a lot. I think.
Yeah,
Beat Evan.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Apparently, Beethoven wasn't as deaf as we thought he was. There were some.
Lies.
I've been lied
What
to?
lies.
Yeah, I mean, I only heard one story about this on NPR, but they were saying that someone recovered his old journal when, like, at the last few years of his life, and he clearly was writing about things that he was hearing.
This jerk said he didn't like my song. I
Like,
heard it.
his hearing may have been like pretty bad, but
Yeah.
like he could still hear some things.
It's pretty sensationalizing to think of people who are great at a craft like having some sort of deficiency, though.
Yeah,
That's just
Yeah.
a good story.
it is.
Yeah, I mean, we probably like created the idea of who he was after the fact.
Yeah, you kind of
by-
romanticize that
Yeah,
stuff.
getting
Without
rid of
a
some.
doubt.
It's like George Washington.
Oh, yeah.
That's why
Chopped
people
down
like
a cherry
child
tree and he
geniuses and
confessed
stuff.
about it. That actually happened.
Yeah, wooden teeth. Rare. We know like 3
I'm
things
sure.
about George Washington.
I'm sure.
Like that's all he did was those 3 things. Come on.
Well, he declared Thanksgiving a holiday. Okay, take that.
What's your favorite part of the mall montage, Andy Hubert?
I couldn't even tell you. I didn't even remember them going to the mall.
Oh, like Genghis Khan like fights like balloons and rubber balls and stuff, and he
man.
finds like modern weapons and like
Like
dances
I'm
around
picturing
the
like
aisles.
Napoleon at like a arcade playing like a war game.
Yeah, that's what I would assume.
Yeah, somebody does do that.
And then he gets shot.
I think
or
Billy
by
the
something.
Kid is playing video games.
Oh, maybe he's playing like a
Oh,
shooty arcade.
he's-
he's
okay.
playing
That
like a
makes
Gunsmoke
sense.
game of
Crushing
some
it,
kind.
yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I forget what Socrates is doing. He's like
Socrates. I forgot about that. They do call him Socrates.
Oh, yeah.
Socrates.
That's like the thing I remember the most from this movie.
Socrates.
What's up, Socrates?
I think he's trying to like
What?
philosophize in the mall, but he's like wearing a bathrobe and like
Yeah, doesn't he get on a soapbox?
possibly.
Yeah. Now, does he
Literally.
speak Latin, or does he actually? Can he actually talk to them?
I don't think he talks English.
He speaks Latin.
That's
He's
what I
Greek.
assumed, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a moment during the presentation where they have to translate for some of these people.
Mm-hmm.
They translate for Socrates.
They Wait, how?
Sign language, dog.
They know sign language?
Apparently.
What?
American Sign Language?
Wow. Well, they don't have to worry about passing this. They could just become a sign language person, and those are valuable.
There you go.
But they all get arrested.
They do.
They go to the
I
jail.
know a little bit about
What do
this
they get
scene.
arrested
Yeah.
for, though?
Just loitering in the mall and causing chaos.
I think, maybe like, I don't think Bill and Ted get arrested,
Yeah.
but I think
Some of the-
Socrates
yes,
and
people cause a-
They
Billy the
all
Kid.
do. Joan of Arc is like putting on some aerobic gear and she like just is working out in front of like a TV.
Right,
And, like,
and
she-
so-
they're all just causing mischief in
And
this
then
mall.
Bill and Ted are
man.
like, oh, dang, like, we got them all arrested. We got to go bust them out.
That was a good impression.
Sure. So they got to sneak into the police office.
Yes.
Where Ted's dad works.
Police office.
Police office.
That's definitely what you call
the
it.
Police station.
Oh, yes.
The police department.
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 That's what Napoleon says.
So, yeah, they have to go to the police office.
Yeah, how do they do it? How do they get them out?
So I don't remember the exact setup,
Here
but
we
like
go.
this is where you know about
I'm
this.
just
They're
letting
kind of
you- I'm letting
smart.
you ride it out.
You guys can run with it.
Keanu's
I
a
know
little
nothing.
smart. I don't know what the problem is. They need the keys.
They need keys
but the
to the
keys
jail.
aren't there.
No.
And so they're like, well, what if I just tell my future self to put the keys there or something like
Yep,
that?
I'll steal my dad's keys and put them in this bush.
I'll just tell my future self to steal the keys, go back in time, and put them there. And then he just does it in his head. He like thinks about it.
Remember the keys.
And then, like, they sit there for a second, and then they look back, and the keys are there now. And they're like, whoa, the keys!
I can't wait to
Is that what you
that's
remember?
right. Well, there's another part, too, because the dad catches them, breaking out everybody.
Yeah.
And then Ted's like, remember to put trash cans.
Yes!
And,
I
like-
was thinking about a trash can,
And
too!
for some weird
I thought
reason,
they were hiding behind a trash can, though.
future Ted and Bill were able to put trash cans above where he is, and they fall on him, and they're able to escape the police office because
And
he's
as-
stuck in a trash can.
And right as the trash can falls, I think they both look at each other and they go, "Beep, beep, beep, beep,
Yeah.
beep, beep, beep."
Oh, my gosh.
And they break them all out, and they
break
get to
them
do
all
their
out.
school presentation at San Dimas High School.
And it's
San
like,
Dimas.
I think they
San
break
Dimas
them.
High School football rules.
I think they
thing that
break
happens.
them out at like 5 a.m. or something like that, and then they have to rush right over to school.
Yeah, their
There's like
they're
they
last
were
up.
up the entire night basically collecting these people.
Yeah.
and they have to do the history presentation at a pep rally.
It's like in an auditorium.
What?
It's sort of a pep rally. It's like an indoor pep rally.
Kind of is.
It's
What?
So this high school is gigantic. It's some Californian high school in San Dimas, and everybody has to do their presentation live in front of the entire class.
This would be the worst. I
would
not
not
just to do
do
the
it.
presentation. I don't want to sit through everyone else's presentations.
I mean,
during
everyone's
this.
bored to tears at
Jeez,
this point.
Yeah, what are they
Pete's.
just reading
Ugh.
from their
Yeah.
presentation?
They go through a couple of
And
different
this is
versions
before PowerPoint even, so they're probably just
of the
reading off of
presentations.
papers
Yeah,
and stuff.
It's not very good. So the teacher is about to call it quits. Bill and Ted aren't here. They're gonna get zero.
Yeah, because they're like waiting.
Yeah.
They have
Yeah.
a certain amount of time to get in.
And I think suddenly the lights go off and like a big presentation starts.
Yep.
With lights and sound
it's
effects.
like-
They have all this
It's
stuff
a whole
queued up.
production.
And Bill and Ted,
California.
well, they tell where everyone's from. Like,
Yeah.
They give everyone like wrestler, NBA player like introductions.
Yeah.
Yep,
Yes.
that's what I'm thinking. I can't actually sing that song, but whatever that song is that they play before
I know
like the
it-
basketball
I know.
enter, and it's like,
The Michael Jordan song.
Yeah.
I know what you're
Yeah.
thinking of. It's a great song.
it's so good.
It is.
You're not doing any justice whatsoever.
I don't care.
I don't
I'm
care
one
either.
person.
It's
Brad's
fun.
gonna layer it underneath, and
Yeah.
it'll be
You're doing
great.
like an 8-bit version of it.
I got one voice.
We need to find an 8-bit version of that now. I want to hear that.
And they go through everybody. They tell Bill and Ted tell the history of everyone, and then everyone like tells their stories to the class, and everyone is just so
participate.
engaged.
It's the coolest presentation.
It's the best presentation of all time.
It's real chill.
And
Just
then-
like the dudes.
So let's go through what do these people do? Socrates.
Socrates, he like philosophizes.
He's a philosopher.
And then Bill and Ted have to translate. Like Socrates like does some symbolism and like hand language and things, and he just tries to get his point across.
Yeah,
And
they're just reading his body language.
I don't think Napoleon ever gets his moment on the stage. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah, is he like
Yeah.
he's late, or he gets missing again, or he disappears?
Could be.
Because I
Yep.
think I think Napoleon. There's somebody. I thought it was Socrates, but I think it's Napoleon. Just wanders off through most of the movie.
Yes, he does.
Okay,
He ends up in Waterloo.
that's true. That's true. That's
Yeah.
where he ends up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He
Beethoven
misses the presentation
ends up playing the piano. Billy the Kid like twirls his gun real cool.
and does a lasso, maybe.
Yeah.
Genghis Khan does like a martial arts exhibition
No.
thing.
What is he like twirling with swords?
Yeah. Twirling was that's what
That's
he
a
does.
history project.
Abraham Lincoln does his fourscore.
7 years ago,
We only know
our
one thing
forefathers
Abraham
brought
Lincoln
forth
did.
on this land.
And they end the presentation, and everyone like zooms out on that telephone booth, and it's like this most magical thing. I think they even like blow wind through like the audience, and they don't know what's going on.
Yep.
because they got to return all these people back to their time.
They do.
And someone's mowing their grass, and that's okay too.
That's fine.
And that happens, you know?
Somewhere in the middle of the movie, they do go reenact, so you see the flip side of the part in Act 1 where they meet each other, but then you see it from like
Their perspective.
their
yeah.
perspective. It's pretty interesting how that's done.
Kind of Back to the Future too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fun.
It is fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Bill and Ted 2 is what scared me as a child.
That's a great movie. This
There's
movie
some scary rabbit scenes in there.
This movie ends with them forming like a version of the Wild Stallions with like the princesses on like bass and keyboard and them playing guitar. And they play a song, and then like that's kind of how the movie ends.
That makes
Okay.
sense. And then they
So it's
save,
like the
they
start
save
of the band.
future.
Yeah, Rufus like comes by like you did it. Everything's
Future
gonna be
is
fine.
chill.
And then speaking of Bill and Ted 3, which is coming out soon.
Yeah. I'm so
apparently the plot line of that is they never wrote the song that makes him famous. And they're running out of time,
It's
which
really
is a
funny.
good plot.
That is
very
it's
funny.
really good.
They just didn't do it. But Bill and Ted,
Yeah.
I can't wait to
that's right.
watch this.
No, I'm so excited.
We're gonna watch Bill and Ted and see what we got right and what we got wrong, and Andy Huber's gonna talk
Finally.
about something he remembers. Is there anything that we didn't mention that you remember from this
There
film
was that one
stands out to
scene
you?
where they
Here it
did the
comes.
thing with the stuff and the guy.
Where they pretend that they're wearing armor, but then the armor falls down the stairs. Is that the scene
course,
you're
that's
talking
exactly
about?
the scene I was talking
Yeah, when
about.
they're like trying to rescue the girls.
Yeah,
I was gonna say that,
boy.
Brad, and then you
Or they
beat
go to
me
a dungeon or something.
yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
boy.
That's the scene you remember.
Of course, everyone remembers that scene.
And Napoleon hanging out on the top of the phone booth, causing trouble. Phone booth breaking.
I don't think I want to do that.
Well, let's see what we got right and wrong. in part
Yeah,
two.
let's do it.
Let's do it.
Ted, while I agree that in time our band will be most triumphant, the truth is, Wild Stallions will never be a super band until we have Eddie Van Halen on guitar.
Yes, Bill, but I do not believe we will get Eddie Van Halen until we have a triumphant video.
Ted, it's pointless to have a triumphant video before we even have decent instruments.
Well, how can we have decent instruments when we don't really even know how to play?
That is why we need Eddie Van Halen.
And that is why we need a triumphant video.
Welcome back to the Be Excellent to Each Other podcast. We watch Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure.
Excellent.
69. Yeah. So, like Rufus's reaction to the second time is like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, he's like heard it so many times.
These are the people. Yeah, he's like his destiny to have heard that.
Carlin's acting was really funny.
Yeah.
I really liked
He's only
it.
in like 4 scenes.
He is.
Oh,
but
yeah.
I liked it, but I liked it because you were never sure if he was like genuine, like, wow, it's the guys, or if he was just sort of like, wow, it's the guys. You can never quite tell.
Yeah, my thought on that was like maybe he's in a position to help them when they're like not like these like super famous people. So he
Yeah.
like sees them as like maybe doofuses like they are.
He realizes
Yeah.
he's like,
when
wow,
everybody
we
else
idolize
kind
these
of idolize
people. Yeah,
them as like the idea of who they are.
but he still asked for their autograph.
Yeah, because they stopped a war, which we forgot to mention. Mm-hmm. They prevent a future war from happening because their song brings people together. Apparently,
They unite the whole planet. But that world doesn't seem very fun in a place that I would want to live.
it's like a Twilight Zone.
Everyone
It
seems
is.
like mentally neutered.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
that-
that's
To
true.
be fair.
Man, there was like one scene where I was just like, nothing's happening. This song is going on forever.
It's a very slow scene when they go to the future.
I wonder if anybody who's seen this movie could tell me how it opens, because it opens with a golden crystal diamond just like
Yes.
falling out of the sky. Out of a platform.
It almost feels like a weird
what is
James
why?
Bond movie.
What is
intro.
it set up?
That's exactly what I wrote.
Yeah.
I was like, this feels like James Bond.
It does.
Is that what it's supposed to be parodying?
I don't know.
I don't know exactly, but that's what it looked like.
It's
and that's
such a
what it felt.
forgettable beginning
It is.
scene.
It
Like,
is.
I don't know what's going on here.
Why a diamond too? Like
Diamonds are forever. Yeah, the diamond didn't make sense. It's
the
like,
diamond doesn't.
It doesn't give
play
them power.
in
It's
the-
like not something. It's not a MacGuffin of any kind.
Yeah.
There's no diamond.
It
in
doesn't
the-
like turn into the phone booth.
Nope, it's just part of the aesthetic of the future.
I would like it to have like turned into the phone booth. Maybe
I thought they were gonna like zoom out and it was gonna be like the knob to a guitar or something that they
Oh,
were playing.
that'd
And,
have
then,
been-
and I was like, that'd be neat. And then it didn't. And I was like, no, never mind.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't think anything of it. I was like, "Oh, this is interesting." There's a diamond, and then the movie started. And
I think
was like, "All
that's-
right,
I should just forget about that opening.
I feel like
Forget
that's
about
true
it.
of most of this movie. You're just like, oh, that's interesting, but I forgot
Yeah,
about
just
it.
move
now.
on.
Move on.
Keep it on. Keep moving. We
Which
gotta,
is fine.
We got
I mean,
things
that's
to do here.
kind of what this movie exists for.
We built like
but-
7 set pieces. We got to use them.
Yeah,
This is basically Dude, Where's My Car for the 80s.
you're right.
It's also Wayne's World.
It is also Wayne's World.
Yeah, I can see that for sure.
Mm-hmm. We could use another one. Not
I think so.
necessarily Bill and Ted 3.
You think
but
we're ready for another one?
We'll see what happens.
Another duo comedy, buddy
Yeah.
comedy.
I think.
movie.
I mean, it's fitting. We've done episodes for both of those other movies.
It's
as
true.
Well, so
maybe
go
their
back and listen
daughters
to
will
them,
get
everyone.
their spin-off on the Bill and Ted 3. That's like the gimmick of the third movie is they have daughters now.
Yeah,
So maybe that'll spin them off.
I'm excited to see how it goes.
it's classic
Join,
catchphrase.
join us for part 3.
Any more generalizations you guys think about this film?
They're young. Well, Alex Winter's younger than I thought.
Yeah.
Like, he looks much younger than I remember.
Yeah,
him
they were both,
looking.
I think, 2021 when they shot this.
They have a lot of makeup on. I noticed that.
Yeah,
So-
I noticed a lot of not great ADR. I mean, I wouldn't, again, with a movie like this, I don't really expect the ADR to be amazing, but there were so many scenes where it wasn't even close to matching lips of characters doing things, and it was throwing me off. It was like, it was bugging me.
Luckily, I wasn't
Things.
paying that much attention to it.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just watching it from my TV. Did you have headphones on?
Yes.
You
That'll do
notice.
it.
Yeah, you easily notice the
Oh
ADR.
my gosh.
Yeah, I
with
was watching this on my
headphones.
computer.
Some of the
We forgot some of the people. We forgot about Freud.
Yeah.
Yes,
we
yes,
did.
we did.
Forgot about Freud.
He played a big part.
Was that a Freudian slip?
Oh, whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, I don't think that was a
About your big
slip.
part?
Should I lay down?
Is that a Freudian slip?
I like when the cop was like trying to
Interrogate him, and he
yeah.
like interrogated him back. That was,
That was a
that was
good
really
bit.
funny.
Why do you keep asking me these questions?
I would have
want
liked
to
more
talk
of
about
that.
your mother?
I would have liked
Yes.
a lot more of that. That would have been fun.
That would have been a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this movie feels empty at parts. It
Yes.
feels very empty.
It feels like they're trying to fill the movie with things, and
Yeah,
they just kind of
this-
like Napoleon's like B plot, like helps like pad the running
We should
time.
explain that because we were trying to remember why Napoleon, like, we thought he wandered away from
He's
the group.
in
but
the movie just to make it the
He, like-
90-minute long.
He's the
runtime.
Mr. Bean
he
of
gets,
the.
yeah, he gets like accidentally pulled along with
Yeah,
them
he doesn't
somehow.
even mean to. He gets
No.
shot. A cannon blows up behind him, and he falls into the portal.
Yep, and just shows up, and then they pawn him off on the little brother, and they're like, take care of him, and so
I
then,
thought that like the portal like lassoed him with like some kind
Yeah.
of electricity because he got pulled
No.
with this like.
I thought it grabbed
looked
his
he
foot
got
or
pulled-
something.
Yeah, something grabbed him and pulled him in.
And
I
apparently, you
think.
could travel through there without being in the telephone booth. You
Yeah.
just be all loosey goosey in that transferring time thing.
yeah,
That's weird.
I did.
When they were going through time too, it looked like they were going like they were inside a strand of hair or something like
Yeah.
that.
I mentioned like circuitry of a computer,
Yeah,
but like that doesn't make much sense.
late '80s CGI.
Rufus calls it
Yeah.
the strings or strands of history. That's his like thing that he
Okay.
says. I don't know.
It was so easy to shoot that scene too.
Oh,
just
yeah.
like in the teleporter, just shaking it back and forth with
Yeah.
the green
I
screen
did like
behind you.
in the trivia they mentioned that it was originally supposed to be like a van, and I was
Mm.
like, oh, that would have been really good, but they were worried to be too similar to Back to the Future, so they changed it.
I was gonna say Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was thinking Scooby-Doo as well.
I like the telephone booth, but it does get a little cramped in there.
Well, I also thought that was funny because I'm like, they changed it from a van because of Back to the Future to a telephone booth, but they were like, no one knows what Doctor Who is. That's fine.
Yeah, we're Americans.
We're Americans. Yeah, they're
We're
not going to
dummies.
get it.
Nah.
Yeah, I think people probably wouldn't have.
It also is something that just like stands out in a public place as being innocuous.
Yeah.
You know, you can hide it. And also, like, on the flip side, when it lands in the Old West, for example, it falls between two outhouses.
That was a good
Yeah.
And I was hoping someone would like use it as an outhouse.
I thought
like
the same thing.
Like Bill or Ted would like slip in some poop or like see that someone had pooped in the
Or a guy was like pulling his pants down right when they got
Yeah.
back to it. Like, get out of here.
I felt like this movie was full of like missed opportunities of maybe not quality jokes, but like there are clear opportunities of jokes that they didn't take.
the setups are flimsy
Yeah.
for some of the things.
Yeah.
When they're trying to get Billy the Kid, like he comes in the Old West saloon, busts in. And we don't really know what his plan is. He just says he needs 2 people.
He comes in shooting his gun for no reason.
Yeah,
He's probably
just
trying to
showing
get
up.
a
I'm
gang
like,
together.
Billy, that's dangerous.
No, he was
stuff,
trying
buddy.
to put a poker game together.
Yes.
Oh.
And he was setting up Alex Winter to win.
Yeah, he needed people to help him cheat in poker.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought that scene was like kind of funny. Like there was the one line where like Ted had no poker face, and then like Alex Winter was like, "You have to have a poker face, dude." And then like he was like, "Whoa, 4 aces!"
And then
I kind of like how
has the
dumb
brawl.
they are.
Yes, that's the kind of movie that I think we need. Is like 2 dumb.
I
Idiots.
need more dumb people in
Yeah,
movies. Just like
It's fun.
dummies.
Who are the dumbest people in movies?
I don't know. Adam Sandler?
Well, that's the actor.
Well,
That's true. It'd be hard to find a genuinely just like inept dumb actor, but that'd be really funny. Keanu kind of fit the bill pretty nice back then.
Yeah, I think it kind of painted him as a dumb guy.
Yeah.
Like people think of him as
That
guy.
was the thing that like
they
stereotyped
said that
him.
like Ed Solomon like ran into them in line for like a McDonald's or something, and that's where he like was like, "You guys would be perfect for my movie," because they were
Ed Sullivan?
Solomon.
Oh.
Ed Solomon.
I was like, Ed Sullivan
The
was involved in
theater?
this?
Yeah, apparently they were just like goofing off together out in front of this McDonald's, and he was just like, I need them in my movie." And
Well,
and-
Keanu had
Andrew
done a couple
Ted.
movies.
yeah,
by
well, they
then.
both still had to audition, but he like asked them
Yeah.
to audition for the movie, and they beat out people like Pauly Shore, who I'm totally surprised was not in this movie. Like,
Dang.
I mean, that makes
that would have been good for him.
Yeah.
Would have been his first credit.
We haven't even done a Pauly Shore movie yet.
oh boy, let's get some jury duty. In
Son-in-law?
here. Let's get some Biodome.
I'm thinking
in
Biodome.
here.
Biodome is the thing I think we're probably going to end up doing.
Just a quick tangent. I have this app called Pocket, which like shows you like the best articles on the internet. And one of them was about the Biodome experiment. I didn't know that this was a real experiment that was done. That
The Bill and Ted adventure?
the Biodome.
Oh,
thing.
okay.
That people actually lived in a dome for like a year or something like that, and it like went horribly wrong.
Yeah.
Not
It sounds like Big Brother.
Well, it's
You just
true.
wanna
We,
tape it.
we do
Yeah.
that.
Put it
It's
on
true. We
TV.
do that every year,
Yeah.
all the time on TV.
yeah. They're like, we don't have to spend millions of dollars. We
Yeah, it
just
turns out.
get an advertisement.
So we were kind of fuzzy on the princesses.
Yeah.
Well, they don't really play a major part in
No.
this
They're
here for,
movie,
like,
if I'm
2
being
seconds.
honest.
They build a big castle set, and they're like,
They
we got to use
basically,
it.
like,
yeah.
That's kind of it.
Man, like
it's
they're
our big set. It's the big second act set piece.
they barely use it though.
So we can talk.
It falls
so they-
apart and stuff.
Yeah, they
but-
warp in, and like it was. You're right. They mention their future selves. Tell them, say like, check out the princesses or something like.
Yeah.
Say hi to the princesses, or give my love to the princesses.
Yes.
And then like they almost immediately right after the Billy the Kid end up.
And they get Billy the Kid
Oh,
and
and
Socrates right
Socrates, yeah,
afterwards.
you're
Yeah,
right.
because they're like the buddy comedy.
They didn't know if they wanted to call him Socrates or Socrates because they kept
Yeah.
they were flip flopping back.
The
and
first
forth.
time they
Can't it be
say
it either way.
The
Can't
first
you do
time
it
they
either
say
way?
Socrates, and then he's like, look it up in the book. It's under Socrates, and you're like,
Yeah.
They say the
I was like-
Socratic
I was
method
so
pretty
confused
easily.
about that. I was like, wait, why didn't they just do the Socrates bit from the beginning?
It's
Why
funny.
did he have the
I
other
like
line?
I like it. Socrates. It's funny.
But everyone, I
Yeah,
feel
it was
like
a little
everyone would've gotten it
confusing.
without it.
They call him Beat Evan. That's my joke that I
Beat
thought
Evan. That
I
was a
made.
good
Beat
one.
Evan is good.
That is a good one.
Beat Evan was great.
I do like the good bit too where they roar back to the real world and they're like introducing all of the people in the phone booth to his stepmom, and they're just giving them names like, this is Bob Genghis Khan.
yeah. And that's
is-
Abraham Lincoln.
I couldn't think of one for
This
him.
is Marion of Arc. Like, those are really good.
Yeah, it's Bob Socrates.
Hi, Missy. Mom.
Miss Preston, we'd like you to meet some of our friends.
Yeah, this is, Dave Beethoven.
Sí, so sure, madame.
And, Maxine of Arc. Missy. Herman the Kid.
Bob Genghis Khan. Socrates Johnson. Dennis Frood. And, Abraham Lincoln.
Yeah, they just see the princesses. They think they're gonna find
they
like
wave at 'em.
Henry V. That's like who they think they're gonna
and they run
find
in there
in
to go get him, and then they have like a weird
Yeah, they
sword
get
fight bit.
sidetracked.
They do.
This whole
They
movie
put on suits.
sidetracks.
They put suits of armor on and just fight each other for some reason.
And
I
then-
couldn't tell if they wanted to focus on collecting the famous people or if they wanted to focus on the bringing them to the auditorium. I know those are like kind of like that's like
Yeah,
that's
I
like
don't know.
the first part of the second act, and then it's like the
Well, yeah,
third act, but they kind of focus on getting Billy the Kid. They spend a little bit of time with that. They spend a little bit of time with the castle, but then eventually it's just like you literally see them like teleport in and then grab Joan
Yeah.
of Arc's arm and bring her into the
Yeah,
thing.
which we'd mentioned in part one that we expected. We knew at least Joan of Arc especially was just like a quick grab, but you're right. It is like it feels like they suddenly realized that this was going to take too long if they were giving large bits to everybody, and so they just sort of wrap it up.
I think they could have done it in a more clever way, where they're like getting people out of there.
They managed to pull off some funny little bits, like when they warp to beat Evan, and everyone in the audience like hears the phone booth warp in, so they all look over, and
Yeah.
Beethoven has no clue because he's supposed to be deaf, so he just continues playing, and they come in and just lift him away.
Yeah, but then like later on when he's in the electronics store and he's like playing on the keyboards and everything, like the guy's like, listen to this, and presses a button, and then he kind of like he doesn't really react at first, and then he like looks at him and starts smiling, and I was like, is he hearing it or not? Like what are they what?
Yes, that's true.
And then he rocks out like hardcore.
He does. We were right that they are terrible at their instruments, because it does after the opening
real
is
bad.
them just, and they openly admit
They
it
don't
too.
even know how to hold
I
them.
did like their little circular bit in the beginning when they're trying to shoot a totally rad video.
Yeah, that seems very 80s.
It's like, but we need the rad video to get people to like our music, but we need to learn our instruments if we want to like our music, which is why we need to get Eddie Van Halen in the band.
Yeah, he's like, we need Eddie Van Halen, man. He's like, I think we should make an awesome video.
He's not going to be in our band unless we have an awesome video.
Yeah, he's like, well, we need to play in order to make the video. So let's get Eddie Van Halen.
It's like a good bit of them going in circles.
They don't really need to convince anybody about what they're doing. Billy the Kid's like automatically on board.
They do- and they
There's
do-
even a throwaway
I was
line
saying,
where it's
they
like,
lampshade
"Hey, Billy,
it.
you're getting real used to time travel."
Yep, they lampshade that pretty good with the whole you took to time travel pretty well.
Billy the Kid's like,
And he's
"Aw."
like, yes, I did.
he kind of almost felt like the third member of the team.
He did.
In a way,
he really
yeah.
did.
Didn't get built up enough. I would have liked to
Yeah.
have been more, because he does like save the day during the England time. Him and Socrates. have
Yeah,
the
like would have been
things
kind
on.
of fun if he like became their friend, like even if he stayed in like
Yeah.
modern times even or something.
Yeah, he like I can get used to this. He's like hanging out in the pool with some like blonde babes or something.
Yeah, they,
Or with the
Or, like-
stepmom.
they didn't really take advantage of anything.
He sees like a calendar with like a Texan and like a bikini, like a hot
Oh,
babe with
yeah.
a cowboy. I get used to this place.
Instead, you see like Joan of Arc doing Pilates.
Yeah.
And it's like, I get it because it's 80s, but like, what does that have to do with her?
Yeah,
Like,
it doesn't
Is
make
she doing
sense.
something that like makes sense for her?
Because you're in the mall and you're just trying to like figure out things for people to do in the mall. I do like Abraham Lincoln's bit where he's like taking a photo.
Yes,
and then
that
the guy
was a good one.
accosts him of like stealing the stuff. He's like, "No, this is my hat and beard. Don't take it. I'm Abraham Lincoln, really. I really am."
He's like, all right, I'm gonna need the fake beard and the hat.
You're right. That
Fake
was a really
beard.
good bit. That was a good bit. I like that one.
The Beat Evan one made sense. Genghis Khan was okay. I would have liked him
Yeah.
like been like a martial arts academy or something. That'd have been sweet.
With the Beat Evan one, he was like playing that song, and then like for some reason the guy that owned the store was like now mad at him and wanted the police to like escort him out, even though clearly he drew a large crowd to your store.
Yeah, it seemed like
Yeah.
a good thing.
There were,
You're gonna sell instruments that day.
there's a couple of bits where they just sort of move on, and I don't know
Yeah.
if it's because they weren't sure what to do or cut something or what, but there's like even just when when he takes them to the mall initially, like they show up in the mall, he's like, "This is the mall," as they're riding up the escalator, and then they get off the escalator, and it immediately cuts to like some other student giving their presentation at the auditorium.
Yeah.
And I was like, "What happened?
They're
Where
trying
did
to
we
throw
go?
like
we
a
just
time
moved."
crunch in there for some reason.
It was strange. I don't know. There was a couple of jumps like that where they just suddenly moved somewhere else and they're like, "We're here now. Don't worry about it." And really with this movie you don't need to worry about it. There's a whole bunch of, goofs where it's obvious like, "Oh yeah, they would have figured that." Like when they Bill pranks Ted's dad early in the movie to get Bill out of
I like that. That
Ted's
was fun. That's pretty classic.
He's just like, "Oh, this is Lieutenant so-and-so at the station."
He says Van Halen. I think.
Yeah, Officer Van Halen, you're right.
I got your keys.
Dude, sir, we got your keys. And he's like, "Oh, of course, I'll be there." And I'm like, yeah, I mean, that was just a
That's fun.
funny bit. That was a good bit. And the movie doesn't take itself super seriously, so it's generally fine. I don't know. You're right. I think it just contributed to an overall atmosphere of like, this is a movie you can have on in the background, but you don't need to watch it.
Could have had a few more comedy bits thrown in there. Just like goofy
Absolutely.
stuff for
I
them.
think they could have done more with the princesses, and they didn't.
Oh, without
they
a
show
doubt.
up. One of them is the exchange student from Better Off Dead.
Oh, okay.
Uh,
That's an interesting poll.
I recognized her immediately, but I wasn't sure what from until like later in the movie when she came back, and I was like, "That's just because I
Yeah.
love Better Off Dead." I think that's
Well, the
a great
Genghis
movie.
Khan guy he's been in big trouble.
Die
in
Hard?
China, Die Hard.
Oh wow!
He eats the Butterfinger and Die Hard or the Snickers bar.
Yeah. He's yep.
The craziest
And
one.
he's one of like the fighters in like the very opening fight scene in Big Trouble in Little
Oh,
China.
okay, with all the
When he
the
finds
two
himself
gangs.
like in the alley and the
Yeah.
two gangs are fighting.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
The weirdest one I thought was the woman who plays Joan of Arc was the singing telegram girl from Clue.
Oh,
That's fun.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I know her just because she also did one of the voices on Mission Hill, which is an animated show I really like, and so I was like, her
she's-
face looks really familiar. And
She's very pretty. She was kind of looking like Winona Ryder.
She looks like Joan of
I
Arc.
thought the same thing. She looked a lot like Winona Ryder in that.
and a little like Joan of Arc.
Casting was very fun. It would be fun if like Eric Andre or somebody like dressed up like Beethoven and like went into an electronics store and like really jammed out.
That sounds like something you would do.
That'd be really funny.
Yeah.
That should happen. I forgot that two male friends in the 80s can't show affection to each other.
Yeah, they did drop an
I'm
F-bomb.
I'm
on
so
that
sad.
one.
They
Yeah.
hug, but they drop an F-bomb.
And then they quickly
You know-
break apart and
Yeah.
It's kind of the equivalent of the No Homo, which was only like 3 years ago.
Yeah,
You're right.
You know?
that's true.
But it hasn't died away
It
yet.
did shock me though, man. I'm so
I was like, whoa.
yeah. As soon as that happened, I was like, wait, what?
It did take me out of the movie for like what? Did I hear that word correctly?
Yeah.
I was like,
It's just a timestamp.
It was a timestamp. It made me sad because these bros, they love each other.
Yep.
But they can't show it.
Yeah.
Not even in the old timey middle ages.
Right.
They can't hug. Two bros can't hug, and I'm sad. Bros should be able to hug anytime, any place.
Bros hugging bros.
Future, past, and present.
I say bros should be able to kiss even.
I'm actually fine with that. I know you're trying to make a bit or a joke or something.
okay.
That's
let's do it.
fine.
I'm going all that way.
Oh, okay.
That seems fine.
That's fine.
It seems like a fine
On the
thing.
mouth.
Yes, that's what we
Yeah,
assumed,
I'm
man.
okay
Yeah,
with this.
I
With tongue.
Okay,
What
sure.
year do you
Even.
think this is where you're making a point?
I'm just stating things that I want. I mean, people want.
I mean, there are. No, you're doing it. All right. Talk me through the Ziggy Piggy.
oh, God.
Talk me through the
Okay.
uncomfortable, most awkward.
So I
Oh
don't
my gosh. Napoleon is
Yeah.
hanging out with three very underage
clearly
Children.
like
kids.
tweens.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
And they go to this ice cream parlor called the Ziggy, Piggy.
Which is like I
Oh
don't
my-
remember this scene at all.
Why did this
Yep.
scene
So this is-
exist?
So yeah, this is after they warp back with him accidentally and just leave him with the brother and give the brother some money.
Why
did
This
they
is
do
the first
that?
thing they do is
They
the
go
brother
to
gets
ice-
2 girls and Napoleon to go on like a double date to the ice cream place.
They
Yeah.
thought it'd be like a funny scene, but then like nobody actually spoke dialogue in that scene.
Nope.
There were those
It
two
was-
creepy
It was just
restaurant
those two
workers.
people.
Yes.
Napoleon, and then like the kids didn't even really react or
No.
say anything.
No,
No,
in
the girls
scene.
don't do anything, which was a bummer. I thought they would have had some really good opportunities to be really funny. And
Yeah,
just the brother being
use some like
like,
colloquialism
it's
of like
just ice cream, dude.
yeah, I like the girls like talking like a valley accent or something. I
I
don't
know.
know.
I was sitting
Or
there
like
going
they think
like, why is
Napoleon's so like sexy because of his French accent or
sure,
something.
that'd been
Could have been
good.
really funny, I think. Oh, I mean, if they weren't 13, but
Yeah, they could have been older.
I think they were also playing up the idea of him being so short is like he's hanging out with the young kids.
Maybe.
All 4 of them get 4 spoons.
They
Yep.
share the
and share
whatever,
the Ziggy Piggy.
The Ziggy Piggy
is
is
their
like
signature dish.
yeah, it's like a giant bowl of ice cream.
Bucket of ice cream.
Yeah.
It's got marshmallows around it. It has all sorts of different
got,
colors
like,
of ice cream that
fudge.
don't make sense.
Yep.
It does not look appetizing. I would not want to share ice cream with other people. One bowl with multiple spoons.
Yeah.
That seems odd.
Napoleon is wearing the most makeup in this movie, and you can kind of
Oh,
see
yeah,
it in that
Yes,
scene.
that's true.
His face is like so pasty and
Caked
pale.
over, yeah.
And you see it in that scene, and you see it in like the swimming scenes. And like, so it's like kind of gross seeing like all the makeup and all the ice cream on his face.
Is he supposed to
and,
be
like,
comedy relief?
It's not funny.
Because he's
no-
a jerk.
It's not funny.
Yeah, he's
All the
like-
kids call him a jerk too.
He's just like a C plot that I feel like was pointless except to make the Waterloo jokes.
That's
And
true.
I don't know.
It's his only
It's bad.
reason to be in there is for the Waterloo.
That's
thing.
that's the whole bit is like I guess he like shows off his like plans for the water park or something, and like, that's the joke. They're like that's not gonna work, man.
Yeah.
And they're like, haha, because he lost at Waterloo, and the park's called Waterloo.
He's very like upset. He like cheats a lot. That's his
He
gimmick.
is very upset when he said that.
I was so again, this was another one where I thought there were so many good opportunities for some really funny stuff, and they just sort of they don't miss them all, but they don't really exploit them. They just sort of run through it, and they're like, okay, time is over. Let's go to the next.
It's just like making fun of a foreigner a lot too. That's kind of like what they're.
That's true.
What his service is in the 80s.
He could have been anybody. Like, he didn't have to be Napoleon in those
Yeah.
scenes. Like, nothing
Yeah.
made him Napoleon.
Yeah, that's true.
He could have been like, what wasn't there like a pharaoh that was young? Why don't get him to
Yeah,
hang out
King
with
Tut.
the kids?
That's
King
a good
Tut.
idea.
He likes water parks
That
and
could have been
stuff.
fun.
Yep.
There
Come
you go.
on.
He didn't serve any purpose.
Yeah.
He basically was like a child that was like
Yeah.
lost in the city.
That's why he should have been a kid. Maybe I don't know.
It would have made more sense.
Yeah, and it like if they accidentally like if the kid like wandered in like it because
It would have made more sense
I think it
too
could have
if
been-
they like teleported back to the house and was like, "Here, take care of this kid because we don't want to bring him to like all these other
Yeah.
places."
They genuinely thought
They
he was a
kinda-
kid, could have been funny. Or if they didn't even realize that he came back with them, they warp back and like go in the house, and Napoleon
Yeah,
like,
he's just out in the
wanders out, and he's
world.
like, "What the heck?"
yeah, and then he just wanders into
And then,
the
like, yeah, he causes-
auditorium at the end. That'd be really
Yes,
good.
That'd be really funny. That could have been really good. Or just even just him, wandering through the town and like maybe causing mayhem or just disturbances because of what he like. who
Maybe he like
is.
ends up like in a French Quarter somewhere.
Ooh,
like
yeah.
you can finally like talk to people. I don't know.
finds himself like commanding a kid army against some other kids or something.
Yeah,
Just be
yeah,
something
that's-
weird.
that's
Then
what I was thinking.
At the
Like,
end,
he's
they
gonna do
realize,
something
oh shoot, we need to
militaristic.
get this guy back too. Yeah,
Yeah.
But instead, it was
Like
just
he's
like
got to
a
get
weird...
I think we were even thinking like only Napoleon got arrested. I don't remember what we had said part one.
I think
but
we said everyone did.
Yeah, I think we said
but
everyone.
Okay, well everybody did get arrested.
They got arrested because Bill and Ted were looking for Napoleon.
Yeah,
Yeah. Which is like frustrating. Because like I mean it's a movie plot too, so you want to
It
add
is.
like some stakes there, but like you're going to find one person and then you leave everybody else and all of them get lost. I was like, man, we're setting ourselves back even further and you got this report to do.
yeah. The report, man,
Because the report came up so fast.
that teacher, man, he was just like, I'm gonna. We mentioned this part one, but he is genuine. Like, you have till tomorrow.
You have to
And
get,
then
you have to get an A+.
You have to get an A+ or you flunk, and then you like just to add a little bit of little button on the scene. He's like, as they're leaving, he's like, "Hey guys, it better be amazing." And you're like, "Wow, teacher, you're just freaking putting all the pressure on him."
Yeah.
Brutal.
Didn't seem like a great teacher. Didn't seem like he was trying to help or work with them at all.
No.
Wasn't giving them ideas. See, if the teacher had maybe given them the ideas to do what they did,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Give them
be
the
helpful.
ability to be creative with
maybe
their stuff.
nothing about what the teacher was teaching was actually inspiring.
Maybe.
It's kind of interesting that the whole movie's premise is predicated when Bill and Ted are bringing Napoleon into the house in an 80-yard dialogue line. Bill says, "Oh, we should do this with everybody. Let's start getting people from the past." And I was like, that's the whole movie premise, and you just kind of like washed over it that fast. Like that's not even like a main point. It's kind of odd.
What did they actually learn too?
They
They
get
weren't really necessarily doing
They
this for
didn't
the
learn
history
anything.
project.
The other people they brought back did their presentation
They
for
do
them.
have more knowledge during the presentation than
they didn't-
previous.
oh, yeah.
They didn't know who those people were.
But we
by the end.
would have
You're
liked to
right.
have scenes of them like talking to the people and like
But
learning about.
you're right. Like
things.
though, having the bit like where they connect with Socrates with the "Dust in the Wind" like song lyrics. Like this teacher needs to just speak to them in their language.
The one bonding moment they have with all of these people is a cleaning montage.
Oh,
that
in
like
the house.
is like lightning fast,
Yep.
and I can't even like see what's going on. Are there jokes happening, or is
No.
it just legitimately people cleaning?
Just a cleaning montage.
No, it was literally people
what?
cleaning.
I feel like there's got to be room for jokes there.
No, you need to clean the set, and then we could shoot more.
Wouldn't it be funny if
Let's shoot the cleaning.
Genghis Khan tried to make like the feather duster into like a staff or something? I don't know.
That could, yeah.
Am I overthinking the cleaning montage?
Honestly, you literally could have done anything.
Because that's just like their one united moment, but they
Yeah.
do it in like a fast motion, 17 different
'Cause the-
scene
'cause-
cut thing.
Because the setup was that they had to do their chores before they could
Get a ride.
driven to the mall.
I don't know.
Why were they going to the mall?
Because you go to the mall in the 80s.
Because they were going to show people like San Dimas, like because that was part of the report.
I think
right?
they were trying-
They had to have the people like tell what San Dimas was like for them.
Oh, I don't know.
No, that was the history teacher said the other part was what do people think of San Dimas?
Okay.
Yeah,
It's a
'cause
weird report.
It doesn't make any sense.
It does come up a few times in the presentations.
Is
because someone talks about Maria Antoinette
Yep.
instead of saying let them eat
Oh,
cake, let
right.
them get fast food.
Related back to maybe current
So
events in
I
San
guess
Dimas.
that makes sense.
yeah, it was basically what would the last part was what would the historical figures think of San Dimas today?
Yeah, okay.
So I think that's
That's not
why
so
they
bad.
took him to the mall.
that sounds like
makes
that
sense.
sounds like a real thesis
but it's
kind
still
of statement in a project.
like you guys didn't know that, so
No,
it's
it
not
was
very
not
well
clear.
clearly laid out.
Also, maybe like they could have separated for one time in the film, where like Ted is managing them and like Bill's finding Napoleon or
Ooh,
something.
yeah. Well, I mean that
Yeah.
doesn't work, Brad. They said if they get separated, the whole world dies, man. You can't
they
separate them.
Why
I
not?
think they separate in part 2, in Bogus Journey.
I don't know if they separate in part 2.
Well, when they're children or whatever that scene is, where one
Oh,
goes
that's true, that's
into-
true.
One goes into the bunny.
They go in
place and
different
one goes
hallways.
Into the grandma
You're right.
house. Yeah,
It ends badly when they separate. Maybe they shouldn't separate.
There you go.
and they're children
That's the
too.
that's the rule,
But
the lesson.
that scene is
they cannot
so
separate.
creepy.
They need to
And then
be
each
together
of them
forever.
play the other person in that scene, and it's super weird.
What?
Like Bill plays Ted's like drill sergeant, and then Bill plays Ted's like grandmother.
Oh,
It's them in makeup as the other person in the scene.
I have
Yes.
to see that.
Yes.
I didn't
man.
know that.
Wow.
And there's a bunny rabbit. That's the other person.
Yeah, the bunny rabbit's creepy.
Yeah.
It's barely in the movie too, and that's the one thing I remember.
Well, let's talk about this movie. What other things did you remember? I think the presentation that they gave
It's fun.
sucks.
Oh,
I'm giving that a B if I'm grading that.
Not
as
an
a
A+.
teacher.
Honestly, if you got the real guys, like if you're in you're a high school history teacher, and people come in with actors for their report,
That's pretty big.
that's huge. You got to give them an A+.
I guess so.
yeah.
They had a whole light show figured out. I don't know when they had the time to spend on that.
No idea.
They used the boot to go back a day.
They had risers set up for the people to stand on
They
too.
did,
When
they
did they
did.
set that up?
Maybe the theater crew is just really good at their high school. Like they were like saw them coming in and they were like crew's like get the risers in here.
Yeah, I mean, you've done Tech Andy. It takes a while to
It
set up
does.
the lighting.
It does. That
cues.
takes like weeks to figure out.
They did figure out that they could do things in the future to help them in the present.
Yeah,
So I
which
guess
we'd
you just have to
mentioned.
assume that that's
'Cause
what
we'd brought
they
up the
did.
Yeah,
trash
we
can
haven't
and all
really
that stuff.
mentioned that. What's your
brought it up in
feeling
part
on
one.
the logic of that?
So there's a couple of time travel logics in the
I
film.
was saying, can you walk through it because we were very unclear about how that worked in part one.
So
and
in-
I'm still unclear about. How
So
it
before we
worked
get
here.
into that part, so Ted has a watch that's always ticking in present day, and that time is always correct no matter if they go into the past, the future, anywhere else. That clock is like the rule that this whole time travel aspect is predicated on. They have like 8 real-time hours or however many, 24 real-time hours to do whatever they want, time travel and do their thing. But that present day is always moving. They can't just like jump till right before the presentation, like constantly.
Okay,
and go forward.
I missed this.
But I don't
because
know why they
I
can't
did not
do
understand that because when they meet their past selves,
Yes.
and they do the Ted, remember to wind your watch, and then Rufus is like, you don't have 8 hours, you have 2 hours, guys, or like we have a day. He's like, no, you have 2 hours. And I was like, why do they only have 2 hours? Why can't they just start from now again?
Yes, I don't know. I, feel
I
like
didn't
they
realize
could.
that was a thing about the watch.
Yeah, as an audience participator, I guess you just have to accept that that's a rule.
Yeah.
But there are ways to
I mean-
skirt it, which they do because they go to the future to set things up to help them in the present.
Yeah.
So they could have just like
If you're traveling through time too, isn't your watch actually slowing down? Wouldn't that happen?
I don't know.
I don't think so in this movie.
Not in this movie, yeah.
But I feel like they have infant time as long as they go right back to the presentation at 2:45 and do their thing. But maybe that's just like a loophole that we're supposed to assume they can't do. Closed by the fact that Ted's watch is always running. Time travel movies are confusing.
They are.
They are, yeah.
They're tough to do.
It's like you have to do some mental gymnastics to make it make sense in your head.
Yeah, and I think this is a movie where that it does work well in the time travel dynamic just because the movie knows it doesn't have to play tight with its continuities, with you know, anything like that. They're like, look, it's not a serious film. We don't need to be like, make sure everything actually lines up or everything makes sense. If it doesn't in the end, we can just, you know, it's a goofy movie. Don't worry about it.
They do travel to the future at one point on accident. They're trying to leave England and just Bill is just like hitting a bunch of numbers on the phone booth. He's trying to get one that works. And he just lands in the future world where everyone doesn't say anything and then
Just listens to weird music.
yeah. That's
Which was like so obviously an attempt to do a U2 song.
Yeah.
It was like, go back and listen to it. I was like, there's no way this is not a U2 song.
is U2 the music that saves the world?
Was that their song? The song that was playing in the background, was that them or?
Oh, I don't know.
Because whatever that song in the background.
They're on
was,
like
that's
video screens as themselves at that age.
Yeah, they're wearing trench coats. What was the trench coat idea? I was like, is that a thing? Like,
Everyone has
who's
sweet
doing-
glasses.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like meeting God? Is that sort of that scene? Like, how do those
Sorta
people?
like that.
Well, who's God? Is
Bill and
is
Ted,
Bill
I'd
and Ted
assume.
God to
yeah,
them?
well, they
Yeah.
they
And who are
saved
those
the world.
3 people on like the panel?
I don't know. They weren't quite sitting, but sort of sitting on something.
Yeah.
They're floating in a way.
They were like floating up while sitting. I didn't
Yeah.
understand that part either. But everyone starts doing the weird guitar motion. I like that they didn't get it right away. They were like, these people are weird. And then later they realize it's them doing the guitar motion.
Yeah, the guitar motion was like kind of weird too. It doesn't feel
Well,
like rock and roll.
Yeah, they
It's
do it
like
so slow. And you're like,
They changed it up.
Well,
they made it their own.
They learned the motion here, I would think. So it's kind of like a weird reverse learning a thing. It's like, because they don't come up with the motion, but they see that they're doing the motion. It's like, oh, this is our motion.
right.
So we're going to do it.
When they go to the future, is that before they save the world or after?
So the future, to me, is present day.
Ooh. What?
I'm with Brad on this.
And they're trying to save their own humanity. Rufus ends up like breaking the fourth wall a couple times. Like he's talking to us as an audience, which is weird. And the
So
movie,
he's the main character.
he's the reason everything has to happen. Yeah, and I guess maybe they have like a timeline of all the things in the universe, and they know like, okay, we had to wait till the movie starts in 2688.
Yeah.
And then they know to go back in time at this particular date because they need to set in motion Bill and Ted to do the presentation.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I could see that.
So I don't know if there's well, it'd be nice to see like a future beyond this future, like what happens to it. But
Yeah.
it also changes in part 2 because the future doesn't look anything like this. This is just like plain blue walls. Kind of look like they're in a cave.
This was we had $100 left in the budget future.
Yeah.
Man, didn't this movie do well?
I feel like it's in the cultural zeitgeist.
Yeah,
but I don't
well,
know
that's
if
why
it did really well.
I think
in
that makes
theaters.
sense that 2 looks better in a lot of ways than this one does because they were like, oh, the first one we made for cheap and it made decent money, so let's give some real money to the second time around.
Yeah, the second one came out just like 2 years after. Which this movie came out in 1989.
Yep.
I couldn't remember that.
The second one's way more visually striking. This is kind of bland and plain. There's not even like a close up really in this whole movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's this movie comparable to before its time?
This is hard to say.
I don't know.
Maybe a little bit of like Fast Times at Ridgemont High with just like Sean Penn's character.
Yeah,
a little
Like you
bit.
just
A little bit.
pluck that thing out.
It's kind of shot similar.
I don't know what else it would be like.
That's a good one, like a John Hughes sort of look to
John
it.
Hughes,
Although
yep,
he did
sure.
But like he did have like a distinct style.
He did,
in
yeah.
framing.
It was a bit more dramatic too.
This is like TV show. This is like MTV framing,
Right.
Kinda
but even
is,
like
yeah.
not as
It's
extreme.
like Joe's apartment.
It's like VH1 framing.
Ooh, yeah.
It's like pop-up video. So talking about the time travel, well, not the time travel, but like the logic of like planning ahead. There are a couple scenes where they need to kind of do something in the future to be able to make sure that they're able to do it right now. So the first one is that
A tape recorder.
they needed to steal his father's keys.
Yep.
And so he was like, we got to steal the keys to get into the jail cell, but we don't have the keys because they've been missing for 2 days. And then he's like, well, why don't I just steal the keys in the future
And put them right
and then
here.
put them in a spot where I know where they'd be, and then we just find them there. And then they just walk over to a spot and they're just right there. And they're like, hey, look, we got the keys. And then, yes, I think it's the tape recorder after
They
that.
had to distract the dad away from all the people in the jail.
Which is a bit of a weird... How do you do that?
The tape recorder, I guess, worked.
Who's pressing play?
Yeah.
So some of the logic is like, I don't know.
It would have been fun to see like a Bill and Ted like shadow or like them in like the background like real quick or like
Yeah.
setting stuff up or like the whoosh of the telephone booth or something.
So they have a tape recorder that's like, hey, Dad, I'm over here. Hey, Dad. And then like he gets up because he hears his son and he goes over and passes. And this is like Metal Gear Solid. They go behind this entrance area and go into like a cubicle area. And the father finds the tape recorder and is like, now doesn't know what's going on. Mm-hmm. And they read on a typewriter that there's a note that they wrote to themselves. And I forget something about, you remember this? Mm-hmm. I forget what it said exactly, but the last part was just like duck.
Yeah.
Told them to duck. So they ducked down as someone got up and went to get some coffee. Mm-hmm. Then they go and open the jail cell. Nobody's really looking at them, but there are people like all around. And as they're letting out all of the historical figures and trying to escape through a window, the dad shows up and keeps demanding that Ted's going to go to military school, that he's already signed him up, that's already going to happen. At first, it was like you have to pass this history exam. Now it doesn't even matter. He just signed him up.
That was a piece of consistency that I liked because when Ted is explaining to Bill about that, he's just like, my dad already bought the ticket. Like, he signed me up. I got to pass this exam. And I'm like, bro, if he already signed you up and bought that ticket, you're going. It's not a question. And then that is confirmed later.
Yeah. And then they didn't even talk about it after the fact.
Yeah.
But the last thing that they do right before they all escape, because the father's basically right there, is he's like, I need to think about a trash can or something like that.
Yeah, I don't know how that trash can.
I don't know how that happened.
We were
eludes me every
confused
time
about
I
that
see
in
the
part
film.
1, and I was hoping you guys would help me in part 2 here.
It
Because
doesn't
I
make sense.
genuinely
It doesn't
don't
make-
understand
yeah.
the
It
trash
doesn't
can.
make
She just like
sense.
tie his shoes together or something else. I don't know.
Yeah, and then he couldn't get the trash can off himself? Like, how? How?
Yeah, it's a cartoon.
It is a cartoon.
It's a cartoon.
He's bumping into the cell and everything, and I was like,
The trash can said Wild Stallions too. They had the time to write Wild Stallions on the trash can.
okay. Yeah, none of that made any sense to me.
No, it came out of the blue, and they just
But
escape.
They escape, and they basically go to the auditorium to do the actual thing.
It's a nice third act.
It is actually.
seeing all that stuff pay off.
Yeah.
It is.
I liked when Freud was interrogating Ted, and he like reveals like the daddy issue that he has with it.
Yeah.
and then he goes to Bill and's like, "Do you need help, Bill?" He's like, "No, I just got some Oedipus problems."
Yeah, he's like, I just got an edible complex.
Edible complex.
Which is like the one time they finally did a joke.
Yeah, that is true.
and that was a really good
And
one.
I actually laughed. I was
Actually-
like, why? Till now? Why'd you wait?
Ted's father's own fear of failure has caused him to make his son the embodiment of all of his own deepest anxieties about himself. And hence, his aggression transference onto Ted.
Whoa.
Okay, Ted.
Yes. Thank you very much, Sigmund Freud. Nah, just got a minor Oedipal complex.
I thought the dynamic with the stepmom was actually very funny in the thing, because it's like, you know, they mentioned, wasn't it weird when she was a senior and we were freshmen?
I asked her to prom, dude.
Yeah, and then like when the dad
Dude,
comes
your
in,
stepmom's hot.
the dad comes in, and he's like, asking him, he's like, "How's it
shut
going,
up."
boys?" And they're like, "Not good, Dad." And then
The
they
dad
go
does
talk
not
about all
care.
the problems, and he's just staring at the mom's butt the whole time, and
Yep.
just like, "Yep, sounds good, guys." And then shuts him out of his own room so they can like
They
bang in there.
bing bong
They
in
bing bong all
in
over
his son's
his
room.
Yeah, Ted even mentioned it. He's like, dude, your dad's about to go all over her on your room. He's like, shut up, dude.
That's weird. The dad almost like is getting off on the fact that it's like his son's
Right.
room.
But like and it's
Right.
funny though, because the stepmom also, it just seems really
seem
agreeable to
into
the whole
it.
thing. Like
She's
she's
into
just a
it.
nice person, it seems
Yeah.
like, and she's into the dad. It seems
She's got
as well.
she's got some
I don't
You know,
get it.
Whatever
reverse
works, I
Oedipal
guess.
going on.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, she's hungry.
Oh boy.
What else? So they obviously do the whole thing, and it goes really, really well. And it goes so well that after they teleport out of there, the whole crowd is just like, "We want more! We want more!" Like they did really, really well. You don't even see the teacher like really grading them or anything. You don't even see the teacher at all.
Who knows? All they got was a B+, maybe.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
They might have failed.
They already
It's
got
okay
an F.
because Tad and Bill's dad saw them, so they approve of their son for the first time ever.
Yeah,
That's true.
I think so. Yeah, because the dad walked in and he was like, "What are they doing up there?" He's
Yeah.
like, "Shut up. We're gonna watch them. That's what they're doing."
We're gonna care about our sons for once in our lives.
Yeah.
And so we get to the last scene.
This is odd.
Yeah, you didn't like this.
Well, Rufus gives Bill and Ted the princesses.
Yeah, he just shows up
He
with
he kidnaps two women.
Yep.
From another time, and literally gifts
them.
them
Gifted as like property.
as presents,
Gifts of success.
gifts of success to Bill and Ted.
Yeah.
along with two guitars.
That is a part that has not aged well. I don't think it aged well then either.
Yeah, it seemed bad then.
It's like,
Well,
what?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily have to defend it. Their only explanation was that they were going to be marrying these other two guys that they didn't want to marry.
Yeah.
And so I think maybe this was an out for them that they wanted versus the other option.
I'd watch-
That's not me defending them, but that's
No.
what they said.
I'd watch this episode of 90 Day Fiancé.
That's true.
Well,
They're
it
set
works
up to
out
be
though.
fiancé.
No, this
Yeah.
works out though because they're band members as well, is what they say.
That's true.
Which I don't know if that's actually going to play a factor in part 3.
And then
Well, in part 3, they have kids.
They have kids, so maybe it's with those.
Could
yeah,
be.
the same
they definitely.
I like that we're calling it part 3. the
what else is it
Bilogy.
called?
B&T3.
The Bilogy.
Bill and Ted
Ooh,
Face
the
the Music. Is it
Bilogy.
even called Bill and Ted 3 Face the Music, or is it just Bill and Ted Face the Music?
I think it's called Bill and Ted.
Do they
Face
drop the
Music.
3?
Well, they don't even say 2 and 2. It's Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey.
That's true.
Yep.
So I don't think it's going to say 3.
Oh, okay.
Bill and Ted Face the Music.
Yeah, I don't like that the Rufus just like gives
Yeah,
than-
it's
No, I totally
Woman.
agree. Yeah, it's not.
maybe Rufus felt he had to because they're band members as well.
Well, it's also then
It's,
weird 'cause he-
destined
Rufus
to
is like
be.
nonchalant
Rufus-
about it
yeah,
too.
he is.
Yeah, I
He's
don't
just
know.
like-
And then he like directly asks their autographs. Like, this is like I gave you the women, you give me the autograph. And you're like, no.
I think he even asked for their autographs.
yeah,
too,
because
didn't
they're
he?
in the band.
Yeah.
That's when he mentioned that line because they're in the band, and I was like, okay, that's an afterthought.
So
Yeah.
is Rufus manipulating everything from the top down?
Ooh, this was all secretly Rufus's.
Here's the
plot.
thing, though.
those
We
two
don't
ladies-
ever know who's actually in control, so I think Rufus is actually.
What if Rufus is actually a
control.
villain? And
Rufus
this
seems
is
like a
destroying
bad guy.
The world, yeah, right.
Ooh.
You never quite seem.
I
sure
don't
what
think
his
he's
intentions
destroying the world, but he's definitely shaping it.
Do you think they're going
He's-
to Carrie
he's-
Fisher him?
He's assuring that world exists.
Yeah.
Like, what could have possibly happened differently from that future that caused
Yes.
them to not pass this exam or whatever? Like, he just took it upon himself to go back to fix something, but how was it broken?
Yeah.
You
Is
know,
this is Terminator?
maybe it
for-
is Terminator
For him?
Oh, jeez.
Is it Terminator for him?
He's reverse Terminator.
Is this
It's a
Terminator?
reverse.
It's a Terminator in reverse.
This is Terminator! Bill and Ted is Terminator!
You kind of connect every time travel movie in a way.
Yeah.
Terminator's Bill and Ted!
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute!
Oh man, I don't know. This was a movie that you put on in the background.
Yeah.
But if you're gonna watch Bill and Ted, until we
You don't
know
need to
3 is
focus
great,
hard.
watch number 2. I think.
It'd be fun to see what kids today think of the 80s in this world, like seeing a mall
Yeah, I mean that mall was very
and water
80s.
park. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it looked fun. I hope that this is a well-written script for part 3.
I mean, it seemed like everyone involved was just having a real fun time making it. So
That's what I'm
If
hopeful for.
everyone's
That's-
having a
that's
fun
good.
production,
I hope
then
that comes
hopefully
across
it's a good
on
thing.
screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think they're going to Carrie Fisher, George Carlin?
You were trying to say that. They replaced her with Wendy Shaw.
Wendy Shaw?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Bob's Burgers. She's a comedian, Last Man on Earth.
Kristen Shaw.
Kristen Shaw, sorry.
Oh, I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah. I get my
I haven't
Shaws
looked at
confused.
anything.
Yeah.
Your Shaws. I haven't looked at anything for part 3. So
Great.
I don't know.
I would suggest not
I'm
looking
up-
at any
I have
advertisements.
not going to.
I haven't even watched the trailer. The only thing I've seen are just vague tweets from Ed Solomon online. He seems like he had a real good time making
Yeah.
the movie. So
It'll be fun to talk about the situation we're in, too, at some point during maybe that part when we do what we saw of Bill
Yeah.
and Ted, of just, like, in general, movies being released. Not in theaters anymore.
Yeah.
Just the whole dynamic of the world we're living in.
coming out, damn it.
Top Gun Maverick is, like, pushed
Oh,
back.
why'd you have to remind
no.
me, Brad?
It's, like, never coming
Oh,
out. Movies are never
no.
coming out anymore.
Or 2021 will be the year for movies
Yeah,
because
every
everything
great
that got
film.
postponed is just going to come out in that year.
Yeah, it's going to be like the best
Insane
movies ever.
release schedules in 2021.
It'll be the 1999 of our generation.
Ooh,
Yeah, there you go.
Yep.
Thank you for joining us on that episode and every episode that you do of our show. The next movie we're doing has the tagline, "No introduction necessary." We remember American Psycho.
New card. What do you think?
Woohoo. Very nice.
Patrick, you're so sweet.
Jean,
Yes, Patrick?
would you like to accompany me to dinner?
Sabrina, why don't you dance a little? Christy, get down on your knees. We're not through yet.
That's a wonderful suit. Looks so soft.
I don't think I can control myself. If you stay, something bad will happen. I feel lethal, on the verge of frenzy. I think my mask of sanity is about to slip. Do you have any witnesses or fingerprints?
Actually, yes.
You're inhuman.
I know my behavior can be erratic sometimes.
Hey, Paul!
So,
What do you do?
I'm into, murders and executions mostly. I have all the characteristics of a human being, but not a single clear, identifiable emotion. I simply am not there. I just had to kill a lot of people!